Hi, this is Lieu from REIT Method. In part 1 of the IGB REIT IPO analysis, we have summarized the quantitative aspect of the REIT, that is, the key financial figures from its prospectus. In this second part, we extract the qualitative aspect of the REIT, both the good and the bad, otherwise known as the SWOT, or strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats analysis. The strength of IGB REIT lies in its location and accessibility. A self-contained mixed-use development, in the case of Mid-Valley City, comprises of hotels, offices, and residential units. This means that the organic crowd traffic to the malls is pretty consistent. People are just there. You don't need extra effort to attract extra crowd from other places, although that does not hurt. Now, this is actually supported by a superior transportation infrastructure, which makes it very accessible from people who's not staying or working in the area. And we are talking about public buses and taxi services here. Now, on top of that, Mid-Valley Mega Mall is also directly connected to the Mid-Valley KTM Commuter Train Station and is within close proximity to the Abdullah Hukum KL LRT station. The Gardens Mall is in turn connected to Mid-Valley Mega Mall via a roof bridge and underground tunnel. So everything is connected, and it makes the malls itself very accessible. Now, this whole Mid-Valley City is actually situated in the proximity of the upmarket Bangsa commercial and residential areas, and established areas like Damansara Heights, Seputeh, and PJ areas. It actually provides an immediate catchment prospect, which comprises one of the more high-class or rich suburbs in the Klang Valley, shown here in red circles. This is taken from the independent market research from the prospectus. It actually attracts people from close nearby, like from University Malaya, PJ, Sri Petaling, and as far as places like Cheras, Puchong, Subang Jaya. So, the positioning of the two asset portfolio in this REIT is actually very good, because you have, on one hand, you have Mid-Valley Mega Mall, which caters more to families and tourists, whereas the Gardens Mall is positioned as a premium fashion mall, focused on the more affluent domestic and expatriates and international tourist customer segments. Now, what are the weaknesses of this REIT? Well, if you look at Mid-Valley City, the traffic congestion, I believe every one of us has been to the malls at least once or twice. And during weekends or peak hours, it's really extremely congested. And this, I don't know about you, for me, if too congested, sometimes to malls or some places, even in Penang, I'll just say, okay, I'll give it a pass, I'll come here another time, or I'll just go somewhere else to do whatever business that I want to do. So with this very serious persistent traffic congestion near the Lincoln Sheikh Putra, it actually a factor that discourages traffic to the mall. So in other words, it depends highly on the vehicular traffic. So the footfall, the crowd traffic, also heavily correlated to the availability of car park bays, which is, as everyone knows, is very limited. If there's no further extension of the number of car park bays in the future, this may pose a problem when it wants to grow, because you might be growing, but there's just not enough space for people to park and to shop. Going forward, there does not seem to be any room for additional car parks in the near future. So any growth in the future can only come from the alternate means of transportations like LRT or MRT. Well, this actually brings me to another point, which is the proposed linkage from Mid Valley City to the Abdullah Hukum KL RT station through the upcoming KL Eco City. If you can see the aerial view of map over here, the KL Eco City will be situated between the LRT station and Mid Valley City itself. So what's KL Eco City? KL Eco City, from what I read, is a world-class city within the city that exudes extraordinary architectural bonus. Well, it's also a mixed-use landmark development, same like Mid Valley City, and it will be anchored by prime commercial offices, very high-end retail outlets, world-class service apartments, and luxury residential towers. So it's a very up-class mixed area development. And if you look at the insert over here, there's actually already in the works is that there's a sky bridge from the Abdullah Hukum LRT station to the Mid Valley Mega Mall. So this will very definitely increase the crowd traffic to the city and increase the accessibility as well. So this is actually the potential of this REIT, which consists of these gardens and Mid Valley City. Now, what are the threats of IGB REIT? Well, the threats, it is actually mentioned in the prospectus, but I do think that the so-called threats over here actually pales in comparison with the strengths and the opportunities like what we have just previously discussed. So one of the threats mentioned, worth mentioning in the prospectus is that there is a lot of upcoming malls in KL and Selangor in particular. So those are really big malls, exceeding 1 million square feet. They say that this boosted retail at Jalan Konkret, Empire City Mall in Damansara Perdana, and there's another one called IOI City Mall in Putrajaya, and iCity Mall in Shah Alam, which they say might potentially dilute the market share of Mid Valley Mega Mall and the gardens. But this is inevitable because malls in places like KL in big city, that's very common, yeah. So I think as long as the management is very prudent, is very smart in managing and retaining and attracting tenants and crowd shoppers to its assets, in this case mall, then I think each and every mall will have its own customer, we cater to its own customer segment, so it's not too big of a concern. Well, the second thing that the threats that you mentioned here is actually what you call as urban sprawl. So what it means that the escalating higher and higher prices of properties in the Klang Valley has resulted in people moving, actually staying further and further away from the city itself. So that may actually lessen the concentration of catchment population of the malls. Then again, I don't think this is a major concern because like mentioned previously in the first few slides, it has its own organic traffic. Okay, the KL ecocity is around there, and you have offices and residential area which is just surrounding these mid-valley cities. So these are minor threats, like what I say, compared to some of the strength of this IGB REIT. Now, next, we actually readers want to know how to actually apply for this IPO. Well, I would say the easiest way to apply for this IPO is through online. I can actually show you over here, but because at the time of this recording, the initial launch date of this IPO, which is 23rd of August, has been postponed. The reason for what I read is that it's still pending some further checking by the Security Commission into the prospectus. So, but it's just a matter of time before the retail offering for investors available. So the fastest way to actually apply for IPO is through online banking. Here I can show you. Okay, I can show you actually how I'm going to do this for Maybank. If you have a Maybank to you online account, okay, or Maybank to you, you can just log in. Okay, just log into Maybank to you. Okay, let me do a login here. Okay, just quick one. Right, so there you go. You have your Maybank, Maybank to you login. First, you go to investment. Okay, investment tab, the yellow tab to the center, and then you go to eShare. If there's any IPO that's available for application, it will actually show up here. But at this point of time, it says that there's no currently IPO listing for internet share application, so you can't really apply for any. However, there's a few detiles that you need to fill in before you apply. Is that this column says that there's a CDS account maintenance. Make sure you have a CDS account. You can actually, if you don't have a CDS account already linked to your Maybank to you, you can just see the add button over, just add this account, and this will actually associate that your IPO application with your CDS account. And after you have actually applied, you can actually check for the status inquiry, because after you apply, the amount of your application will be deducted from your Maybank to you bank account, and you can always check for the status. The status inquiry for the IPO applied back in December for Pavilion REIT. Right, shows that how much amount, what the units apply, and don't worry about this, because if your IPO is not successful, the bank will actually reimburse the amount to you. Like for example, I did apply for Pavilion REIT IPO, but it is not successful last year December. So it says that it will reimburse status, auto reimburse amount, what the amount that you use to actually apply for IPO, but there's about RM1 of charges if you apply for the IPO. So if I were to go to CIMB click, it's the same. Okay, let me log in first. Okay, just fast one. Okay, so now this is your CIMB bank interface. Okay, very easy. You see this part, manage my wealth. You go to eIPO, right, and then you actually go to apply now. So there's no IPO available for application for now, but if there is, this is what you can do. Just key in what's your what's the shares that you want to apply, and then what are the units you want to apply. So it's the same. There's a column called CDS maintenance. Okay, I don't have my CDS account associated with my CIMB account right now, so you can add this, and after apply you can actually check for the application status over here. So for me, I don't have any EIQ application for now for my CIMB account. So that's it. I hope that helps in your decision to actually consider and perhaps apply to this IGB REIT application. So again, this is not an invitation to buy or sell. All public information are taken from the prospectus, and all opinions are actually my personal opinion. So till then, I hope you found this useful. If you really find it useful, I appreciate you share this. Okay, click a like or share on Facebook, and I'll talk to you soon. Keep checking back my blog, howtofinancemoney.com. So till then, see you. Take care. This is CF Lieu from REIT Method.